Traveling with a toddler is one of the most stressful things that you can do, but after 50 flights with our 2-year-old, we have got it nailed down to a science. And in today's video, I'm going to be sharing all of our best travel tips with you guys. Hi everyone, I'm Julana. Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hi, welcome. So happy you found us. My husband and I have always been big travelers, especially me. I have traveled to over 15 countries and about half of the states here in the US. When I was pregnant with my first child, I knew that I wanted to keep travel as a part of my life because it's so important to me. My daughter is now 20 months old and she has been on over 50 flights. Yeah, crazy. I can still remember the very first time I ever flew with her. She was 2 months old and I brought her to Florida to see my mom. I was terrified. I was so nervous. I felt like I was gonna throw up when I was going to the airport. I have a whole video where I talk about that experience flying with a newborn, so if that's the stage of life that you're in, make sure to check out this video. But today I kind of just wanted to give you an overall look at what our travel day routine looks like now and touch on some of the tips and tricks that we have learned throughout our journey, because we have pretty much traveled with her at every stage of life. Our first time flying with her was when she was 2 months old, and of course I was breastfeeding and all that, so that was a whole different layer of difficult. But since then, we have pretty much flown with her every single month and continue to do so. It really is all about practice and preparation. Preparation, preparation, preparation. As we move through this video, we are going to be covering all the things and covering all the topics that you might have questions about. So make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and let's get started. The first thing I want to do is walk you through what a typical travel day routine looks like for us. I try to minimize as many decisions that I have to make in the morning as possible. Therefore, I do a lot of planning at night. I'm talking packing, I'm talking snacks, I'm talking prepping all of your activities for the plane. And I say this because the morning is always hectic. No matter what time your flight is, even if it's an afternoon or an evening flight, I always feel like the day of travel is so chaotic. One thing that I use to make sure that we have every single thing that we need is I make a list while I'm packing of the things that I need to grab in the morning. These are things that I'm using either during the night or in the morning. Typically, the list includes our baby monitor, our Hatch sound machine. We have a little egg light, night light that I love to bring with us, our toothbrushes, my face wash and toiletries, any prepped meals or snacks that we're gonna bring on the plane, and all of our electronic chargers. So in the morning, we wake up, I will consult my list. I'll throw all of those things into my suitcase, making sure that I've already made room for them. I pre-plan all of our outfits the night before, so that's one less thing that we have to think about in the morning. While I am getting everything packed, my husband is usually making breakfast for us, depending on how early our flight is. We typically like to take flights in the morning, not super early. We're not doing the 6 a.m. flights, but we look for flights that are between 8 and noon. That seems to be the sweet spot for us because my daughter wakes up around 7, so we're not messing with her sleep schedule too much. We basically look at the flight times and think about how that's going to work with her nap schedule, especially if it has a connecting flight. Of course, you can't always match it up perfectly, but for example, my daughter usually wakes up at 7. She'll take a 1-hour nap around 11:30 or 12 and then be up for the rest of the day. So when we're looking for flights, we either look for an earlier morning flight that's a little bit shorter with a layover, and we might give her a longer wake window so that we know for sure she'll fall asleep on the longer flight, which will be our second flight. Or if we're just taking one flight, that's usually not a problem. She'll just fall asleep when she gets tired. Okay, so back to breakfast. So I'm packing, my husband's making breakfast. We are consciously trying to make things that will travel well, so a favorite of ours is omelets with cheese and turkey and vegetables in them, and usually we'll make the same thing for us and just bring it in little to-go containers if it's early flight. Obviously, if we have time to eat breakfast at home, we'll do that. I'm going to talk about snacks later, but first we have to talk about the most important things and the most difficult things to me, which are the car seat and the stroller situation. Getting to the airport can be a really challenging factor The car seat and the stroller part of the travel is always the most difficult part. For the entire first year that we flew with her, it was always the struggle of like, what do we do? Do you bring them? Do you just bring one? Do you bring both? And if you do bring them, do you check them with your luggage or do you carry them through the airport and check them at the gate? Do we rent one? Because I recently found out you can also rent pretty much any kind of baby equipment that you need in any city or country in the world. When we traveled with our daughter up until she was about a year old, we used the Doona, and that was so incredible. I was so sad on the day that I knew I was taking my last trip with the Doona because I knew my life was about to get way harder, and it did. The Doona was great. If you love to travel, I 100% recommend getting one. You can even get a used one off Facebook Marketplace. A lot of people sell them in really great condition. For newborns, it is the way to go because you just have to bring that. If you don't know what the Doona is, it's a car seat that converts into a stroller. It's very small and easy to carry around, but the best feature of it is the car seat part because as she's gotten older and grown out of the Doona, the biggest difficulty that we've found as a traveling family is the car seat situation. There's so many factors to think about when you're thinking about if you're going to bring a car seat. You have to think about what your trip is going to look like. If you're going to be in a car, like you're renting a car, driving around most of the time, I would suggest bringing your own car seat. Some rental companies, you can rent a car seat, and I actually think they use the same car seat that I bought and now use as a travel car seat, except when I bring my own, I know that it's clean and has been taken care of. So I would much rather just travel with my own travel car seat. Now, if you're traveling to a place where you're going to be taking a lot of public transportation and you don't really need a car seat besides getting to and from the airport, then maybe the best option for you is to just do the Uber car seat thing and not even worry about bringing a car seat. We've tried it a few different ways. The first time we tried traveling with our big Nuna Rava car seat, that was a pain in the butt. We got the car seat backpack cover for it and everything, and it was so bulky and so big. It was really difficult to do. On that trip, I was traveling with my husband, but I often travel alone. And if I had been traveling alone on that trip, there's no way that I would have been able to lug it around everywhere. We've also tried traveling without a car seat. We really only do this when we're going to visit our families because we have strollers and car seats at each of our parents' houses. But then the problem is getting to the airport. We have tried using Uber car seat service a few different times. The first time we tried it, we didn't know that you have to schedule it. So it was 7 in the morning. We needed to be at the airport at 9. We tried to get an Uber with a car seat and none of them were available until way too late to take us to the airport. So that time we actually just drove our car to the airport and parked it. Another time we tried scheduling an Uber car seat and one showed up that didn't have a car seat, which obviously was a huge problem. Every other time after that, it worked out fine and we got an Uber that had a car seat in it, but we did have some issues with it at first and it was just really difficult to navigate that. So my advice would be that if you are planning to take an Uber with a car seat anywhere, just make sure that you schedule it a few days in advance. The system that we have settled on is a lightweight travel car seat. I did a lot of research on this. It's a Costco car seat. I will link it in the description below. This one is much easier to travel with. It's super lightweight. It's got a strap on the back. You can kind of just hook it over your luggage. We prefer to just travel as light as possible while we're in the airport because we usually have a connection or a layover. So we just check everything at the gate. I've met a lot of parents that just check their car seat without any kind of protective cover on it. And they say, it's fine, it's never gotten ruined or messed up, but I just like to keep my things nice. So I did buy just a cheap, like $15 car seat cover off Amazon for an extra layer of protection. And now let's talk about strollers. Our main stroller that we use is the UPPAbaby Vista 2. We did also travel with that for a while. It is kind of big and bulky. We would take it into the airport with us and check it at the gate. This works really well if you have one flight. If you have a connecting flight with a fast turnaround time, I would not recommend this because it's kind of a lot to get the stroller out and run through the airport. It's just a lot. Usually what we do is we'll check the stroller at the gate to our final destination. So it's not going under the plane. It will still be delivered to you as you get off the plane. But if you have a connecting flight, they'll just transfer it to the next plane the same way they do with your suitcases. A few months ago, I decided to switch to a travel stroller. which I highly recommend, especially, like I said, if you are traveling alone as a single parent. I also did a lot of research on travel strollers. A lot of the travel strollers are $400 plus. Even if you buy them on Facebook Marketplace, I find that they're kind of pricey. One I found on Amazon was 200 bucks. It's great. I love it. It's easy to use. You can open and close it with one hand. It's super lightweight. It's one of the most lightweight strollers that I found on the internet. It's only 11 pounds, which was really one of the biggest reasons that I bought it. I will link everything that I'm talking about in the video description for you. But it's been great. And now when we're not traveling, I just keep it in my trunk as a backup stroller. And that's been really nice too, because sometimes bringing the big stroller is just kind of difficult. So definitely I recommend getting a travel stroller and a lightweight travel car seat. Going through security can also be a little bit tricky. My top tip is if you don't have TSA pre-check, look into getting TSA pre-check. It is going to make your life so much easier. Lines are always way shorter. You don't have to take your shoes off. You don't have to take your jackets off. You don't have to take your laptops out of your bags. Everything is just nice and seamless and moves way smoother. If you are traveling with milk, with formula, even with water in a kid's water bottle, all of that stuff is usually fine. So don't be worried about that. Just tell them that you're traveling with that stuff for the children and they'll just take it to the side and swipe it. Shouldn't be a problem. I've also never had an issue with any snacks that I pack, like yogurt or applesauce. Usually they're under 4 ounces. I don't even think they're considered liquid, so that's never been a problem either. All right, we've made it to the airport. We're through security. We're at the gate. Things are going well. We try to get to the airport an hour and a half early because we are checking our suitcases, we're checking our car seat, we're gate checking our stroller. And usually by the time we do this, we have about 20 to 30 minutes waiting at the gate. It is nice that all the airlines have family boarding, so you'll usually get on the plane earlier and be able to settle down. Some people do the hack of having one parent go on the plane and the other parent stays back with the kids so they have more time to run around and get their wiggles out. We just like to go on the plane as a family all together. My daughter loves the plane. She's totally fine on it. She's never had any issues or any big tantrums on it. So we like to go on the plane, get settled, get her snacks out right away, set up her toys, kind of just, you know, set ourselves up for success. I always prefer to sit in a window seat instead of an aisle seat, and I'll tell you why. I think a lot of parents have this fear of your child is going to want to get up and run around, and because of that, you should sit on the aisle seat so that you have access to the aisle. I like the window seat because I feel like it gives you a lot more activity choices. My daughter has spent countless hours putting little Klingon stickers to the windows. We use the little suction cup fidget spinners that all the kids are obsessed with. We love to look out the window when we're taking off and when we're landing, and we look at clouds and we pick out the houses and the cars and the water and the boats. So the window just provides a lot more of activity opportunities. And honestly, in all of my 50 flights, I have never run into the issue where she was so fidgety that I felt like she needed to run up and down the aisle. I was a lot more concerned about the takeoff and the landing and the ears popping when she was little, probably up until she was about a year, and then I kind of stopped worrying about her. When she was in the newborn stages, I would breastfeed her during takeoff and during landing, just to make sure that she was getting that sucking motion so that her ears were popping. As she got older and started to eat foods and drinking water, I would kind of substitute those things. So I would make sure that she was eating some kind of food so that she was swallowing, or that she was just drinking water. Again, with the swallowing motion will make their ears pop naturally. And once she was past 1, I never really worried about it. She has never really seemed to have an issue with it. But just for my peace of mind, I do always make sure that she's at least drinking water during those times. And I kind of gauge it by how I feel. Like if I feel that my ears are starting to build up and I need to pop them, I assume that she's also feeling similarly. So that's when I'll try to encourage her to drink some water or eat some food. After taking 50 flights, we have tried so many activities. Okay, so what I'm gonna do right now is play a little montage of different activities that we've done with her throughout different stages of her life, because every age is different and different activities work better or worse at different stages. Again, I will link everything in the description below in case you want to shop these items. But hopefully this will give you a good starting point and a good idea of what types of things to bring. also travel with only a diaper bag, which includes my own personal belongings. So because I have limited space, having activities that don't take up a lot of room is really important to me. And I also want to say, don't underestimate the power of unknown objects. There have been flights when we have run out of activities and she has played with coffee cups, empty coffee cups, for almost the entire flight. So don't stress out if you forget activities, if you feel like you didn't pack enough, if you have a really long flight. There are things available to you on the plane that you probably haven't even thought about that will entertain your child for so long. On one of our flights, I specifically remember her playing with ice, 2 coffee cups, and she was just putting the ice back and forth, pour the snacks into one, move it from there into another one, and she probably did that for 30 minutes. So yeah, don't be afraid to ask your flight attendant for empty cups, empty coffee cups, lids, little stirrers, extra napkins, extra snacks. Anything like that will buy you extra time on the plane, so definitely take advantage of that. Now, as a last resort hack, I am not above doing screen time on a plane. In general, as a family, we don't do a ton of screen time at home. We watch maybe 30 minutes to an hour of Miss Rachel or Elmo or Barney throughout the day, but she doesn't have an iPad. We don't really let her watch things on our phone a lot, but for the plane, we will make an exception. She also loves watching animals in 4K on YouTube, which I feel like is a great parent hack. So one thing that I've done is before going on a flight, I will screen record on my phone 10 minutes of a Miss Rachel episode or 5 minutes of turtles swimming in 4K, or cats. She loves watching cats right now. If there's an animal that your child is obsessed with, go to YouTube, search that animal in 4K, and take a screen recording of it for like 5 to 7 minutes. That way you have something on your phone that is not dependent on Wi-Fi. And as a last resort, if your child is having a fit or they just need something else, or they're sleepy and they need something to help them go to sleep, you can play this entertaining, relaxing video of their favorite animal. And for us, it's worked every single time, and it's actually probably one of her favorite things to do on the plane. Another great activity to do on the plane is eat. Some of our favorite snacks to bring are little mandarin oranges. We love freeze-dried fruit. I actually prefer that to bringing real fruit because it's a lot less messy. We like baby granola bars. We like the little baby food pouches. Applesauce is always a big hit. The squeezable yogurts are great. We love the snacks that the flight attendants give us. Actually really fun for her because it's new. Like, we don't have those snacks all the time, so it's always kind of a fun, novel experience for her. And we always try to pack one full meal because usually our travel days are really long. So we always want to make sure that she's getting at least one really good, nutritious meal. So for that, we have a couple different options that we'll rotate through. A great one is just breakfast. So we'll make omelets with cheese and turkey and veggies in it. Also get these tiny little pancakes from Costco that are really great for kids. And hash browns. She loves hash browns. So we get those frozen hash browns from Trader Joe's. We'll just make one in the morning, pop it in her lunchbox, and she will always 1000% eat the hash brown, if nothing else. Another meal that's really great to bring is spaghetti or any kind of pasta, oatmeal with almond butter and bananas and blueberries, rice with chicken and veggies in it. Anything like that that's easy to contain is really great for the plane. So I have a lunchbox that I usually pack for her, and if I'm bringing an item that is hot or cold, I have a little thermos, and that keeps the food really nice at whatever temperature you need. I also always travel with a little travel bib, which folds up really tiny, as well as a toddler fork and spoon. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot about baby carriers. I used my baby carrier up until she was about 10 months old. That whole first year, I had my baby carrier on me all of the time while I was traveling. That is the easiest way to just keep them on you, be accessible. You can carry your backpack and a baby carrier at the same time. And I just found that to be really easy. Some airports will let you walk through security with them in the baby carrier, and some of them will make you take them out and take the carrier off. So it kind of all just depends on the airport. I don't know what the official rule on that is. I also found that it was very helpful on the plane when she needed to nap because I could put her in the carrier. I would head to the back of the plane where there's a little bit more space by the bathroom, and I would kind of just, bounce her up and down and shush her and sing to her until she finally fell asleep. And then I could go back to my seat and carefully sit down. And then it was a really nice and relaxing time for me because she was already strapped to me, so I had both my hands free and I could do something fun like read a book or watch a movie. So that's how I used to get her to nap when she was small enough to fit in the baby carrier. As she grew older, she also became better at being able to fall asleep by herself. So in the later stages of life and kind of where we are right now, when it's time for her to take a nap, I'll just sit her on my lap and we will usually put on a little video just to kind of calm her down, get her into a sleepy state, and I will bounce my leg very aggressively until she finally just nods off. And then she'll usually sleep like that for, an hour to an hour and a half. Although on our last flight, it was actually very exciting because my husband and I were able to transfer her where she slept, just using my leg as a pillow. I felt like I had so much freedom. I didn't have a toddler napping on me because it is pretty uncomfortable as they get bigger. They're just taking up all of your body space and you really can't move or do anything. So that was a huge parenting win for us. I think the biggest takeaway I've learned after almost 2 years of travel and over 50 flights with my daughter is that at the end of the day, every day is different, but it's all gonna be okay. Definitely having a routine makes it way easier, and I cannot stress enough the importance of preparation and planning the few days leading up to your trip. I am genuinely so glad that I started traveling with her at such a young age and that I have kept up with it because she loves traveling now. She loves airplanes. Every time we see them fly by our neighborhood, she points at them and she gets all excited. She legit loves being on airplanes so much that there have been a few flights where she threw a tantrum at having to get off of the plane. And me, being a travel girly myself, I just love that because I know that I am setting her up to be my new little travel bestie. Yes, it is hard, it is scary, it is stressful traveling with your kids, but don't let that deter you. Everything is gonna be fine. I hope that this video has given you some helpful tips and ideas. If you have any questions at all, please drop them in the comments. I will do my best to answer them. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our channel. It would really mean a lot to us if you would share this video with any other traveling parents that might need some help. And never forget that you are a strong, capable, amazing parent, and you can do hard things. So get out there and explore the world. Let us know where you're going, and we will see you next time.